suppose we have numbers, array of numbers. These are the numbers. These are the numbers, and we want to extract, not extract, we want to have another variable which contains all the even numbers from this array. Here numbers is a variable which is pointing to this array. This array contains the data which is numbers. Our target is to have all the even numbers from this array into a separate variable. So our target is to suppose that this is our target. We want to have this array which will contain all the even numbers from this array. How we can do that? For this we can make a function. Let's make a function. What that function will do? That function will what that function will do? So that function will extract all the even numbers from an array. And remember, that function must not manipulate the original array. Means this, the resultant array should be different, right? Note, the function must not manipulate the original array. It should return an array which contains all the even numbers. So in that function we will pass an array, and that function will return an array which will contains all the even numbers. So let us remove this. Let us write a function. What will be the name of function? Extract even numbers. Although we can give any name, that will be, here we are taking argument. See what we are doing. We are going to not exactly extract. What could be the exact word to elaborate what we are doing? We are checking each elements. If that element is even, then we are we are making a copy of that element inside another array, right? So to extract, again I am saying extract, I mean to check whether the element is even or not, we need to go at each element, right? Go at each element. This is how we are able to judge whether that element is even or not. So for that we need for loop. Although we can use any loop, but here I am going to use for loop because it is easy. I will be 0. Why? Because we are always start checking from the zeroth index. First zeroth, then 1, then 2, then 3. When we will check until we reach at the last index, I should less than numbers dot length. Why numbers dot not numbers array? This array. Why? Because why numbers dot length? Because array can be changed now. Here we are passing. Suppose we are passing this array and its length is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. Its length is 16. Second time we can pass another array whose length can be changed, whose length can be 10. Third time the length can be 0, right? So the length is dynamic. That's why we are applying ar dot length. Suppose we are here, first time it passed numbers, its length is 16. So it will start from 0 and go until it reaches to 16. When it reaches to 16, it will stop the execution, right? It will come out of the loop. This is what we want, right? That's why it is array dot length. And each time we are moving by 1. Why 1? Because initial time it will be 0. So first time we will decide is 12 is even or not. Second time we will decide is 54 is even or not, right? So this is the 0th index, this is 1 index. That's why we are moving by 1. Here we will check is array dot I, means initially it will 0. So array dot I, what it will be? It will refer to, first time it will refer to this 12, because when I is 0, it will refer to the 0th index. When I will 1, it is second time it will increase by 1, and then I will be 1. So second time it will refer to this, right? This is how we are checking each element one by one. So if I ar is equal to arr under bracket I is equal to modular 2 is equal to 0, it means that this number is 0. If this condition satisfied, it means that the number is 0. What it's doing? It dividing the number by 2, and checking. Actually it's after dividing, it checking whether the remainder is 0 or not. What it's doing? It's dividing that number, means 12 divided by 2. 12 modular 2 is equal to 0, because it's dividing and checking whether the result is remainder is 0 or not. So when we divide 12 by 2, the remainder will be 0. Hence it is even number. We know that any number, if we divide that number by 2 and the remainder is 0, then that number is even number. If the remainder is anything other than 0, then the number is odd. This is what logic we are applying here. So we know that, we find that here the number is even. Then what we should do? We should store that number in a variable and not in a variable, in an array, because first time this is even, second time this is also even. So we need an array which can hold multiple values, right? So we need to define a variable. Where do we need to define a variable? Of course, in this function only. Why? Because that is the number we are going to return. So it must be here. Answer is equal to empty array. Here we find that this number is even. So we are going to put this number into this array. How do we put? We push. Answer dot push. Push, what we are pushing? Array I. This is how we are pushing the number. So initially it will be like empty, second time it will be 12, third time it will be 54, then it will check 67. No, it's not. If this condition does not satisfied, then it's not doing anything. It will again improve this I plus plus, and then again 12 will be checked here. And each time this condition is true, we are pushing that, pushing a copy of that number in this array. When this execution finishes, we are going to return what? Answer. Always remember, by default in JavaScript, every function return a value. If we are not returning value, implicitly that function will be return a special value known as undefined. Let me prove my point. The point is, in JavaScript, every function return a value. By default, it return undefined. Let's see. Console.log, what it is? Extra. What we are passing here? We are passing numbers. See here, it says undefined, right? Because this function is returning something, and here we are printing it. Let me store it in a value. Const result is equal to, let me remove. So here that function has been called, and this function by default return what? Undefined, and that undefined will be stored here in this variable. Let me print it. Result is result. See here, result is undefined. Now here we are returning what? Answer. Not result, return. Now we are going to print it. See here, we have collection of numbers. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Result is this array, and see, this array contains all the even numbers. from this array. Now let's suppose we want a function which takes let me make another number variable which has value something, and we will pass this array. Now we are passing this array console.log not log result to. Again we are calling the same function. This time we are passing this array, the second one, this one, and it will return what? It will also return all the result 2 is result 2. We are using the same function, this same function, to filter the even number, not filter, sorry, to make a copy of even numbers of the element of this array. Let us print it. See here, we have two results. Here we have two array of numbers. Here we have called that function by passing as an parameters number 1 and number 2. We are returning the answer by making taking even number in this variable and storing the value in the result 1 and result 2, and here we are printing. So here we can see the results. This result we can see only it has even numbers from these two arrays, right? Let us make a function which takes array and return all the odd numbers from that array. Let's make function extract extract odd number. What it will do? It will do again the same thing. Let's copy. The only difference will be here. If not, if it is not, then push. See here, the only difference is here. Each time it is taking dividing that element number and check whether the remainder is 0 or not. Here it's saying if the remainder is not equal to 0, it means the statement is true, and if that statement is true, then this block is going to execute. And we know that if we divide any number by 2 and the remainder is not 0, it means that that number is odd. Let us store that odd number 1 is equal to extract odd number. We are going to pass the same same array 2 times. Odd number 2 is equal to extract odd number, this time the second array. We are printing odd numbers 1, odd numbers odd number 2. Here we have called this function by passing number, the first time number and the second time number 2, which is these arrays, and this function is giving us the array, not this one, array of odd numbers from this variable. Here we must have array. Let's see the results. See, these two are the even numbers from this array. You can match it, and these two arrays are a collection of odd numbers from these arrays. See, let's examine this one. Here we have 43. Where it is? 43 in this array. The second value is 12. Where it is? This one in the array of even numbers. Second time 6, it is here. Then 5, it is here, and so on. So this is how we can extract array numbers from an array and make array of even numbers or odd numbers. But let's examine these two functions. Let me put it nearer so that we can examine it. What is the difference between this function and this function? Only difference is here. So, and in each function we are in each function we are going through each elements using this for loop. Can you see that there is the repeat? This is the repetition. Here we are also checking each element using for loop. Here we are also checking each element using for loop. This is the, and these both are functions are exactly doing the same thing except this one. This is called repetition, and in programming we don't like repetition. In programming we don't like repetition. So is there any way, any better way we can follow which can remove the repetitions and give results as we want? Yes, we have, and that solution is known as higher order function. That solution is known as higher order function. So we are going to learn what is higher order function. We are going to learn higher order function. So here this is the problem, and this problem can be solved by higher order function. How? Let's see. Let me firstly make it comment all these previous ones and move these cons to where I want here. So what is higher order function? In simple sentence we can say that the function which takes function as an argument or return of function. That's it. We can say that a function is said to be higher order function if it's taking a function as an argument and or return a function. There are only two conditions to be a function, a higher order function. Either that function argument take function as an argument or return a function. So let's make a higher order function which will do these things collectively. We will have now we were passing initially we were passing array. Now we will pass here an argument, sorry, function. Right? How do we pass function? Let's see here. Let's suppose ARR is a function. Hence it is a higher order function. So let me result higher order function, and here instead of passing this number we will pass a function. What that function is doing we will see later. Suppose this is a function, we are passing arrow function. What we are doing, we are passing arrow function. That arrow function is what? It's just printing I am a function. That's it. Since ARR is a function, right? We can call ARR like this. Let's console.log. Let's print result is result. See here. Firstly, this function get calls, right? Here it is passing a function as an argument like this. Here we have called that function. That's why it's printing I am a function. This is a function, and we have called that function here. So it's printing I am a function. And this function implicitly returns a value. What? Undefined. That undefined value will be stored in result, and here we are printing result is result, which is result is undefined. See, here this is a function. That's why this is known as higher order function. This is the first point. A function can, the second point is we can pass any number of argument to a function, right? Like this. We can pass here 10, right? And we can print it. Number is we have to take here number. Since this is a function, let's call it fun, not arr. Fun, and this should be fun. This should be num. Here we have passed two things, the function itself and a value. So it will print here 10. See, number is 10. Then it will print function. I am a function, right? Because here firstly we have print the number, then we have called this function. That's why it is printing firstly this one, then this one. At last it is printing this one. Can we pass here number itself? Sorry, this number, this array. Yes, we can pass. See here, it is printing exactly the same array. We are not doing anything. We are just printing it. Right? We are just printing it. Now here is the cost. What we can say, let me drink water. Okay, now let's here pass again 20 and 25. And this time we will take another variable which is 2. We are printing it. Number is 20 and 25. This is clear. I hope this is clear. Now let's remove this one and use what we will do. We know that a function return a value. Here we are checking what? Let's suppose this function is taking two things, a, b, and it's also it's what it's doing is just printing numbers are a, b. Instead of printing here, we just pass here num and num2. Let's print it, run it and see. Numbers are 20 and 25. Here what is happening? See, this HOF is a function. It's taking three parameters. The first one is function, second one is num, third one is num2, right? And here we have passed this function which will store in this variable, this 20 which will store in this variable, and here 25 which will store in this variable. Since this fun is a function, we can call this, what is this function? This is the same function, this one stored in this variable. So we can call it, this fun function is taking two arguments. See here, a and b. Here we are passing num and num2, and this value will be stored here in a and b. And what this function is doing? This function is just printing, doing nothing, just printing a and b, which is this 20 will be stored in num. Here we have again passed, so this 20 will be passed and stored here in variable a. So here we are printing it, so it's printing 20. This is the functionality till now, right? Now let me return, let me make this function a plus b. Now this is a function, this is an arrow function introduced in ES6. If you don't know what is ES6, now you will be confused. So here we are passing a and b in this function, and here we have done a plus b, and that the result will be returned by this function. Let us store here return value and print sum is return value. See here, this one, save it and see, sum is 45. This 20 and 25 will pass in this function. Here this is a function, arrow function. It's returning a value which will be the sum of a and b. That value, returned value, will be stored here in return value, and here we are printing. So it's printing. Since this function is not returning explicitly anything, so JavaScript returns implicitly undefined. That's why here in result the value is undefined, right? I hope till now you understood this. Now let us see. Suppose that this function is taking only one value and it returning a modular 2 is equal to 0. Now here it will only return a, it will return that number if that number is even. See this one. If that number is not even, then it will return nothing. And we know that if a function is not returning anything, implicitly it will return what? Of course, it will return undefined. So let me here, now it's taking only one parameter. So we will see the only this one. We will pass only num, and instead of putting in a variable, let me directly print it. Here we are passing num is what? Let me fun num. We know that here this fun function is this function, and it will return that number if that number is even. If that number is not even, then this function will not return anything explicitly, but implicitly it will return undefined. Let's print it. See, it's returning true. Sorry, my bad. So here it is returning true because this is true. This, what this number is here 20. 20 is yes, it is an even number, so it's returning true. Let me num2 is fun num2. It is returning false because here 25 is not a even number, so it's returning false. I hope till now you understood this. Now where we are going, let me drink water. Let's returning it like this. Return even sorry, here we are checking if a modular 2 is equal to 0, then we are returning what? A itself, not result here, return. Let us print it. See now, here we are checking if a modular 2 is equal to 0, we will return that number. If it is not, then it will not return anything explicitly. So by default, that function will return undefined. That's why you can see here num2, which is 25, is undefined. We can now we can check many times. Console.log fun 1 comma fun 10 comma fun 45. Let me save. See here it is printing undefined here. Why? Because 1 is not an even number. It is printing 10 because this is 10 is an even number, and it is returning. Let me make it clear this once again. So this is a function, arrow function. It's taking a as an argument, and here it is checking if a modular 2 is equal to 0, then it will return a. Otherwise it is not doing anything, means it is not returning anything. So if a is even number, it will return that number. If a is not, then it will not return anything explicitly, right? So if a function is not returning anything explicitly, implicitly it will return undefined. That's why we can see undefined here, undefined. Okay. uh, See here, now we know that this function will return either a number if that number is even or undefined, right? Now we know that now we know that fun function will return the number if that number is even, and if not, it will return undefined. right? Okay, till now I hope this is clear. Hmm. Now we will going to implement iterate from for what suppose now what we are going to do, we are going to pass an array instead of number, and we are going to pass an array, and we will store all the even numbers in that array in a separate array. For that we are going to do what, let answer is equal to empty array, right? Okay, to define whether to go from each element we need what, for loop which will start from 0 as we were doing previously here, right? I should less than arr dot length I plus plus, and what we are going to do we are going to we are going to call that function what, fun function, by passing each element, and each element will be stored here in a variable like even sorry, result. Now this value, result value, can be a number or undefined. So if result is not equal to undefined, then that value will be stored in answer dot push. What we are going to push, we are going to push result. That's it. And now that's it. Let's save it and see the result. Not here, I have to pass, instead of number we have to pass the number, this number array. Save it. Result is undefined. Why it is undefined? Because explicitly we have not returning anything answer. Save it. See here, this array is an array of all the even numbers of this array as we were doing previously. See, now we have all the even numbers using this function. This is an higher order function. Why? Because it has accepted a function as an argument. Here this is the function and this is a number. It does not matter how much argument this function is taking. The argument, any one argument must be function. Here this is a function, right? We had told that we are going to use the higher order function to extract even and odd numbers using the single functions, right? So here we have extracted even number. Now we can rename it as even numbers. Now odd numbers. like this. We are going to call the same function, this one. This time it will not take this one, it will take obviously which one, so that it will take that function, so that it must return all the odd numbers, right? So we are going to copy it and change only one thing. What is that? Is not equal to, and we are going to pass this array itself. Now see, here we have called the same function HOF. Here this is the function which will determine whether element is even or odd. Here it will determine whether the element is here it will determine whether the element is even or not. If it is even, then it will return that number, otherwise undefined will be returned. Here this is a function which will determine, it will return that number even if that number is odd, otherwise it will return undefined. And here we have stored, here we have used for loop to iterate over each element and called it that function. Which one? This one. For every element we are calling that function, and each time it will return a number or undefined. If it is not defined means the result is a number. If it is a number, then push it. After at the end we are returning. Let us print it. What is the error? Let us, result is not defined. Oh sorry, here even numbers, and let me print result, odd numbers are odd numbers, and here not the result, even numbers are. Let me save it and see the result. Here we go. See here, this is all the even number from this what we can say, this array, and here is the all the odd numbers from this array. And this separation is done by only one function, that is this function, this one, HOF. Here we have called that HOF function. See, we are using only one function to determine whether to extract all the even numbers from an array and all the odd numbers from an array. This is the power of higher order function. And we have passed this function as an argument, right? I hope this is clear. Now let me, well, we have declared, we have defined this function, right? There is a inbuilt function. Let me make it comment so that we can proceed further. This comment as well, and move this data here. Now we are going to do exactly the same thing using a inbuilt higher order function, which is map. Yes, map is a higher order function. Map is a higher order function. What is map? Map is a higher order function. Oh no, sorry. Yes, map is a higher order function. We are going to see the things as the above things using filter. And filter is what? It is a higher order function. Filter is what? It is a higher order function. So always remember map, filter, reduce, all are higher order function. Let us do the same thing. Even numbers is equal to numbers dot filter. What it takes? It will take function. Which function? This same one. Let's exactly copy it and paste it. Control plus C, Control plus V, numbers. Now this internal calculation will be done by filter method itself. Now we don't need to write this one, right? Previously we were writing this one, but now filter method will implement this. Internally filter method will exactly do the same thing. Let's give sorry yes and paste it. Instead of writing, we are going to exactly copying it and pasting it here. And let me remove this. Instead of HOF, which is user defined function, we are going to use what? Sorry, numbers dot filter. And this time we will not pass this number as like this. No, we are passing like this numbers, right? Previously we were passing in this parenthesis, but now we are passing here like this. And we are going to see the results here. Internally it will do the same thing. See the result. This filter method is exactly doing the same thing. What it's doing exactly this. Internally it's doing this exactly the same thing, only this one here, because these all are the comments, right? Internally filter method do exactly the same thing. So this is higher order function. Filter, method, reduce, all are higher order functions. Higher order functions help us to reuse the code. See, here we are passing functions, different functions each time, and we are getting different results. First time even number, second time odd number. I hope this is clear to all of you. So once again, higher order function is a function which takes a function as an argument or return a function. Here it is taking function as an argument. It's not returning function, it's returning value. Here it was returning ANS. What is ANS? It is an array, right? It may return a function, doesn't matter, but I am just telling. So this is all. This is all for today. And the point is to be remember is filter, map, reduce, and all other methods all are higher order functions, inbuilt higher order functions. Thank you.